Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Rick's Picks. Today I'm going to be doing my review of the comic book version of Leatherhead by NECA. Now, I'm excited for this because I love the original comics. I get any character I can from them. And look how huge this guy is. I do admit, I didn't expect him to be this big. So I'm really excited to open him up. So, with that being said, roll that intro. So here he is in packaging. Now you got your standard NECA packaging for the Turtle comics here. So you got this brownish box. You got Nickelodeon here, NECA, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, his name, and some comic book art. You do have this nice open window so you can see the figure, all his accessories. Right, you bring them around this way. Get the rest of that window, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, a little bit more comic art. Bring them around here. You get some nice pictures of the figure. I like this one here where he's holding the 2 foot soldiers. I think that's pretty neat. You got other figures that are coming out later on. All right. Bring them around this way. You get some more really nice comic book style of art. I do like that a lot. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. All right. Spin them up this way. You got the Turtles logo. Nickelodeon, age restrictions, choking hazards, some more of the window, and then underneath you have some legal in your SKU. So with all that being said, let's open him up and see what he's about. So here he is out of packaging. He is a massive figure. I love the overall profile to this figure. So what we're going to do first is go through his points of articulation. So the head does move and the mouth opens. So that's pretty cool. I like that a lot. You get his shoulder joint in here. All right. It just goes up. You do get some left to right. It's just a little bit tight, but it is there. You got an elbow joint and a wrist joint. All right. Look at that arm back into place. Yeah, there it goes. All right. You come down here, you got a mid joint. All right. You got some sort of thigh joint and a knee joint. And you also got an ankle joint. And there isn't any kind of swivels in there or what have you. So everything, even though it's a little bit tight, does seem to work on this figure. So now we're going to get into the details. Now, he's an overall cool looking figure. I like the overall look to him. So let's get a good look at this head sculpt. So you got, oops. Hold on, let's get him back on the stand here. All right, so you got this part of the head that looks really cool. I like the overall look to that. Let's open up his jaw so you can see inside the mouth. So you get some really nice rows of teeth on him. And then you come around to this side of the head here, where you got his eye patch and what have you, with the little skull in there. So I like that attention to detail. Now, when you look at the top of his head, you can see down the center there's a wash to it. So it kind of makes the head have a little bit more pop down the center. And then, of course, you get into the scales and everything underneath the head. Let's move this to the side so you can see them a little bit better. And there's all that black lining to it that gives it that real comic book look to it. The same with the wraps on his arms and legs. You get that black lining in there that gives it a lot of pop and detail to him. So I do like that. And you get all this scaling in there as well. Come around to this side. The same thing with the back as in the back of the head, to where you have this black wash on the green, so it gives like the I guess that would be considered fins or whatever, a lot more highlight to them, or scales. All right. And you come and you take a look at this side. You can kind of see the black lines in the skin, but they blend in a little bit when it comes to the arms and legs, but they are there. And back around to the front. So overall, he is a pretty impressive looking figure. I like the overall look to him. So now we're going to get into his accessories. So first off, he has 4 hands. So he has this one here that's like a semi-open hand. He has a holding hand. He has this holding hand. Got this open hand. He has an alternate head. All right, without the eye patch. And this one's mouth does open as well. And of course, he comes with a tail. Now, due to the nature of a lot of these pieces, we're going to cut forward, and I'm going to put a lot of this in some hot water, let it soften up a little bit so it all goes together pretty well. So I had to get the big bowl out for his parts because he's just a big character. So obviously I'm going to need the bigger bowl to put all his parts on. Now I also recruited 2 foot soldiers, 1 and 2, to see how well he will actually hold these guys. This shows that he does do that in the packaging. So, let's take this stand off him, because I'm going to hope once I put this tail on him, he's not going to need that anymore. All right, so the tail pops right into here. Ooh, that's hot. All right, so the tail went on pretty easily. It has multiple joints in it. Now with that in place, let me get a towel. Sop up a little bit of this water here. All right. So with the tail in place, he'll actually stand a lot better with the tail on. All right. So now let's start swapping out some of these hands. Pull this hand off. And this one. We'll do the holding hands first. Pull them out of this hot water because I made sure this water was nice and hot. 1 holding hand. 2 holding hands. Now these are nice, soft. That should go on there really well. The same here. All right. So now that these are nice and loose, if you want, you can have them holding these guys by the arm. So if you want to have them hold 1 foot guy with that arm, the sword out of his hand. Maybe have them holding this one by this arm. You can. Though once it hardens up, it will be a little bit harder. You can even have them hold them like this. All right. And even with the foot soldiers in his hands, he still is well balanced with the tail. So I like that overall. Now, because these hands are nice and soft, you'll probably even get a leg in here. Like the thin part of the leg. So if you want them holding them like this, that starts to off balance them a little bit. So, all right, so the other foot soldier like that will off balance him. But I'm sure there's a way there we go. So now I can have him hold both of these guys like that. So that's pretty cool. I do like that. Now let's try these other hands. All right, now these ones were made, as far as I'm aware, to hold them by the legs. So you may not need to use heat to get them into these ones. All right, there's that. And that. It's all nice. And that does too. So we're going to get our poor guy here. These ones look like they're meant to hold higher up on the leg. Like this. This guy. All right. So, yeah. So if you want to use these hands here and have them hold foot soldiers with that, you could definitely do it. Or even if you want to mix it up between the hands. So as you can see, he is capable of what the box says he does. Now, get these guys out of his hands. For our final part, his head. All right. So let's see how well this head pops off. All right, that actually came off pretty easily. And now that goes on nice and easy once you had it soaking in some hot water. So with some hot water, everything seems to work very well with this figure. Okay, so let's get into my final thoughts with this figure. So first off, all his joints work very well. The shoulders were a little bit tight, but with a little bit of movement, I did get them moving. If you want to use heat on them, you may want to do that as well. But other than that, I feel like all his joints work very well with him. With the use of heat, all his hands, heads, and tails swap out pretty well. I didn't have any issues. I'd probably recommend using heat. If for anything else, at least a tail. That'll make it 100 times easier popping that tail on. And if you're going to do things like this with him holding the foot soldiers and stuff, you may want to soften up the hands with some heat to really get them in there. So, you know, you're not really struggling with hard hands trying to get pieces in and out. But that's my recommendation, excuse me, for that. As for the overall look to him, I love the overall look to him. He definitely captures that look from the original Mirage comics. I like all the detail to him and the factor that he's massive. I love the massive look to this figure. It really suits him very well. So, at the end of the day, would I recommend this figure? Absolutely. I feel like he's a must-have for anybody who loves the old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comic books. He is definitely worth one that goes with your set, and he just has a really good profile look to him. He would just fit very well, even if you're not into the original comics and you're collecting other versions of the Turtles. I feel like he would go well with that as well. So, with that being said, I hope you guys did like this review. If you did, go ahead and check out my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle playlist and hit that like, share, and subscribe. They're all small clicks for you, but it really helps this channel grow. So, until the next one, late.